Welcome back to The Devil's Advocate with me, your host, Matthew Cohen. On such a cold day, I'm so excited and warmed and humbled to have you on the show. One of my dearest friends, Nadia Bartolucci. And I guess to me, before I even introduce you fully, this to me is the miscongeniality of the real estate world. Like, seriously, is that like how, like, I mean, like, you're far too successful to be miscongeniality, but like, you're like one of the most liked. Like, no one dislikes you. Like, that's how I think of you.
Someone always dislikes someone. Let's be honest.
Tell me who they are. I'll look them up. But Nadia is one of the most successful brokers of all time in New York City. You are approaching $1 billion, if not already there. You have a great team. You do both Brooklyn and Manhattan, but definitely more focused on Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. And you're at Douglas Elliman.
Yes.
And I love you. So
I love you too.
So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So we've known each other for a long time. Mm-hmm. We actually were just talking right before we went on camera that we've both been doing this for almost 15 years.
Too long.
Yeah. So wait, so what were you doing when you came into the business?
When I came into the business, I was working in finance at Goldman Sachs downtown and the real estate principal investment division. And I'm very much a free spirit, and the whole system of, reporting to this person and that person and not being able to do things on my own. Over time, I, became frustrated with it. And, I realized, at the bare minimum that I loved real estate. So back in the day, 15 years ago, I decided to work in a residential real estate office at a small company that doesn't exist now on the weekends, just to give it a go. And it was a natural fit, and I got it very quickly. And so I resigned right before the financial crash, which I questioned. I questioned my sanity. I questioned a lot in that moment, but what goes down must go up. And it
Good
was...
to know we're still questioning
that's right,
sanity.
We do still question sanity all the time. But no, I figured, if I could make it work then, I was going to be able to survive anything. And that is what I did. And I stuck to it. And, I have an amazing team, and I've been doing this now for, like you said, 15 years. I
mean, honestly, best decision you ever made, because you're so meant for this.
Thank you.
Like, you are. And if you're not, you put on the best front. And then I know.
I tell my team every day that, real estate is not a 9 to 5. It is not a Monday through Friday. You have to look at being a real estate broker as part of your lifestyle, and you have to fit it in and format it in with the other components and parts of your life. And if you can do that, you are going to be successful, because the one big component to being a real estate broker that I think a lot of newer agents don't understand is you are working when your clients are not working. So, one of the first questions I will ask, a new team member is, are you comfortable working weekends? And, if I hear a pause, if I hear a stutter, if I hear, well, possibly, then I know that likely this is not going to be a long-term profession for them. Mm-hmm. And you do get time off. It's not going to be, your Sundays. You will be able to fit in time off, and you will find that work-life balance, but you have to very much view this as a lifestyle choice. That is a career, but, it has to be thought of as a lifestyle choice, or you're not going to be able, in my opinion, to, excel in this field.
You and I work very similarly, mm-hmm. which is one of the reasons one of the many reasons I adore you, but it's a great business for workaholics. Right? We because it's true. I mean, it's obviously easier because we like doing it.
Yes.
So it doesn't feel as much like work.
Correct.
But I think you even just said it before we went live that, you're at night, you're on the computer, like probably while you're watching TV, like multitasking.
Yes.
Because why not?
Why not?
Right? Because it might as well, progress on a deal, and not wait till the morning after. But we also live, I like what you said about working around your clients, because you have a home upstate.
Yes.
Right. I have a house out east. And I think, at least for me, and I at least see you doing this on social media, even if you just have a night or like 2 nights, out like escaping. And even if you're there, you're still doing work remotely.
Correct.
Like you take the time in between your clients to, kind of like eject as much as possible.
No, you have to. And even, taking work into a different environment. And, like you said, I do have a house upstate, and, it's a setting change. It's a vibe shift. And, when you leave, the chaos of Manhattan and Brooklyn, even if it's just, 1 or 2 nights, you do feel that mental health balance. You do feel that breath, and you are able to recalibrate and come back and, be the best you can be for your clients. So I definitely value that, quiet retreat that we have.
I will say I can definitely see you being in I can see you being in finance, but you're so bubbly and you're so real. And so I don't see that at Goldman, but also because you work with all these developers, that makes sense. Like, it's not easy to talk to these developers, and I'm sure that you get it from your finance days a little bit.
Sure. No, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think, when you're in a meeting with a developer, it's not the less is more. It's just getting to the point and moving on. Because if you really don't understand the facts or can't provide the data or answer the question quickly, they're going to likely move on to someone that will.
Right.
And so you have to be, on your toes there and be very direct and be very clear and concise, because it affects their bottom line. And ultimately that affects, my bottom line as well.
So by the way, I'm just jumping around with you. So
I love it.
Care.
It's like, what happens when you don't see each other? You want to talk about everything.
You're saying we just want to get drinks for 4 hours. This is not enough time. So everyone knows, and for those who don't know, you're a very proud member of the Park Slope community, right?
Yes.
You and your husband. But when you came into the business, where were you living then? Were you still a Brooklynite?
I was a Manhattan girl.
You were.
I was a Manhattan girl for a very long time, for about a decade.
Oh my God.
We were Chelsea for 5 years, and then we went down to the Lower East Side for just under 5 years. Wow. And at that point, a lot of our friends were growing up and moving to this borough called Brooklyn. And, truthfully, I didn't want to move. I truthfully went kicking and screaming. And
was this like a Miranda situation, Sex and the City?
No, this was
far off Brooklyn land.
We were starting to grow up. We got engaged, and we were getting married. We got the puppy. The puppy was eating the chicken bones on the Lower East Side sidewalks, and it was just no. We had to make a shift, and I knew that, and also at the time, I'm known for being real, and I couldn't afford anything in Manhattan, and we really wanted to buy, and we were sick of renting. And, the way we made it work was we rented very modest apartments. The first apartment I ever lived in, my bedroom had no windows, but I was in an A+ location.
All that matters.
And that's what mattered. I had great night's sleep, so it was very dark in there. And then we moved down to the Lower East Side, and we weren't living originally together in Chelsea. And then we moved in together to my place. We just looked at the bottom line and said, okay, whose place is cheaper?
I think that's so fair.
So we're
great.
So
fair. Also, it shows how in love you are.
Yeah.
Or were.
Or just broke.
But honestly, gives you more of an opportunity to love each other.
Totally.
I'm all that fluff is getting in the way of the love.
No, totally. If we could get through that, you can get through anything. And then, we decided we want a place of our own. So we went to the Lower East Side. To another, modest apartment. And from there, we just saved all we could. And we tried to buy a few places in the East Village. And we were getting outbid. And, my husband said, okay, let's go to Brooklyn. We have some family that lives out there. Let's see what it's about. And I went out there, and, his older brother was there, and they did the whole show for me. Let's go to the favorite wine bar, take a walk in the park.
Got it.
Cue the beautiful weather. And, we found an apartment, and, we put an offer in on it. And at the time, Park Slope wasn't hip yet.
Right.
But still, somehow, with a little 2-bedroom that was at the time $550,000, we got outbid,
Oh my
and
God.
it was devastating. And then we got a call a week later that the first buyer backed out, and we were the backup buyer, and we had like a day and a half to sign the contract.
Oh my God.
And broker or not broker, that moment like gets in your head, and it's a whole mental vibe shift. And
Totally.
we were freaking out, and it was like, what do we do? And we just went for it. And we have no regrets. We bought on a park block
I love that.
on President Street,
It's
and
amazing.
it was the best decision we could have ever made. And
Well, first off, everything happens for a reason, right?
Exactly.
I always relate real estate to dating.
Yeah.
So, but before we even go on with that, we do have to take a bit of a break. So we'll come right back.
Looking to stage a property but on a tight budget and timeline? Stage with Stage and Fold. Stylish, lightweight, foldable, 3D printed cardboard furniture that looks real. Quick delivery and easy assembly. Staging starts at just $199 a month per room, and setup takes less than 30 minutes. Contact us today to stage smarter, sell faster, save thousands with Stage and Fold.
Welcome back to the best topic, dating. No. But in all seriousness, I like what you said about when you're talking to potential new members on your team,
Yeah.
talking to newer agents. I always love mentoring younger agents because number one, it's such a great opportunity to be like, you think that's the way it is? It's not. But also, I will always use the analogy that's corny of like, I do think real estate is very similar to just like being single, like dating. And when you're talking about like how the sellers came back to you for your own apartment, it's
The
it all happens
emotional
for a
push
reason.
and pull, and of course.
Like, so I don't know. I think that there's, I think it's important to have people like us in the industry who are not only very real, but very honest and very, like I love Ryan Serhant, but I will even text him this personally. I'm like, whatever you're doing for this industry is not helping us. Like it's hurting everyone else because all we're doing is like hard work and pounding the pavement and like giving people the dose of reality they need.
Well, I think what's really important, and I think, is wonderful, and as much as we don't have a choice, social media, AI, all those things, are the way of the future. But I think there's something to be said for just genuinely being authentic, because with all of the new possibilities and tools that agents have, you go and you see agents, walking these sexy listings, and they're like airbrushed head to toe and this and that, or, it's the industry. It can be sexy, but you know what? On the daily, it ain't sexy. Yeah. It is hard.
Like
it
days
is...
like today when there's slush on the streets, it's not sexy.
No, it's not sexy, but it's not always lifestyle sexy either. When you run a team, yes, there's the pretty new development and the social media, but behind the scenes, is my team doing $3,000 rentals? Absolutely, because we have those clients, and that's what you have to do. And going back to the topic of a newer agent, when I see a newer agent and I just see their like doe eyes and their excitement, and I'm going to make $1 million. I'm like, you're going to be lucky if you make $250.
Yeah,
you're going to be lucky.
Agreed.
And you don't understand what you're going to have to do to even get to that. And I think a lot of these agents, circling back to, how we started after the break, the glitz and the glam, and it looks great, but, once you get under the hood, it is not that. There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of networking, a lot of pounding the pavement, a lot of disappointment more than successes. And
Totally.
Most agents don't talk about it. But to get to the benchmarks, to get to the accolades, to get this to the success, there's a lot of disappointment with that, a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to put that out there because as an independent contractor, you are your brand. Mm-hmm. And, if you talk about that, people are going to say, oh, well, nothing's wrong. That's human nature. And the best thing that can happen to you are those kicks in the knees and those resets, because you're going to rethink everything and decide, how I can be better, how I can be stronger and more successful.
And hey, I mean, you and I are both around that billion mark in sales in our career. And so we have definitely hit benchmarks, you know, but I still get major disappointments. I mean, I lost a listing this morning to another broker who I super admire, by the way. Like, you're always going to feel that rejection.
Yeah.
It's that kind of career.
Exactly.
But I think, yeah, it all comes back to that. Like, I got into the business when I was 22, and similar to you, I was at Morgan Stanley, and I made like just enough money to know that I would not make any money my first year in real estate. And I was like, I just need rent. Like, that was all it was. But you're right. People come into it and they're like, you make your own schedule and, you know, it's so flashy. And I'm like, to your point, your schedule is your client's schedule.
Correct.
It's not yours. Like, I'll try and like maneuver my schedule for things, you know, let's make a great example. I'm going to Botox after this because I'm going to be with a client an hour after. Because most people can go get Botox after work, but I'm going to be with a client after work.
After work.
So I think I just... It's so funny because, like, I get it. Like, Selling Sunset's really fun to watch. Like, all these TV shows are fun to watch. I do wish there was one that would be more just real. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I guess no one would watch that.
No one would watch it. No one wants to see the truth. Everyone wants to see the glitz and glam.
Exactly. So, wait. I mean, I have to ask you, do you ever miss living in Manhattan? Speaking of your brand.
Well, I mean... I definitely am always going to be a Manhattan girl at heart. I love the city so much, but I'm here every day. Fair. You know, I love it. Yes, there are parts that I miss, of course. You know, I love the downtown scene. You know, I love dining out. I love, you know, going to the galleries in Chelsea. You know, it's very much a part of my life. But, you know, I guess in my ripe old age of 44, there are, you know, things that are really great about Brooklyn. Like, you can go out in the city at night, you know, with family and friends. And, you know, you wake up in the morning on a Saturday and you get to go for a nice walk in the park. Prospect Park is incredible. It is not flooded with tourists generally, as Central Park is. And...
Because I'll tell you, I'm not like you. I do not wake up at the ass crack of dawn. I'm like, I'm a night owl. So I'll wake up at like 8, like roll around. I'm so late. And so one of the first things I'll go on Instagram and I'll be like, Nadia was up at 5 a.m. in Prospect Park. Like, I'm like, she watched like the dew on the grass.
For me, though, it's like there's something really special. Those hours between, you know, 5 and 7, 6 and 8, it's me time. It's the time for going for a walk in the park. It's the time for working out. It's the time for catching up on news. It's the time for catching up on my fake news, all my good gossip stuff.
Hey, love that. Love that.
Maybe a little Instagram scroll. Maybe buy something. Who knows? You know?
You need that.
You need that.
Like, and what's nice is that everyone has their own version.
Exactly.
Like, yours is like before everyone gets up.
Because it's silent.
Exactly.
No one is bothering me yet.
And what's nice is for me, so I do that between like 10 and midnight.
Yeah.
So like I do the opposite end.
So we're around the clock.
Exactly. So I'm like, but sometimes everyone does interrupt. Like they're like getting out of their late dinners and they'll text me.
Of course,
like,
they have an idea.
I'm like,
stop
saying, you know, this is me time.
Yeah. No, exactly. No.
So I know you're an open book, but obviously I'm never going to share all of your tea. That's saved for privacy. But you used to be part of a partnership.
Yeah.
And you branched off. How, was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
I am now in my 4th year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
So, and you branched off and you started your own team, obviously,
Correct.
as we're talking about. So just tell me about the process of like being in a partnership and then doing your own thing. Like, was that like a big adjustment?
I would say, you know, at the end when I decided that I think branching off and doing my own team was going to be the way to go for my career, you know, my partner, who's also a fantastic broker and well known in the brokerage community. I think that generally our business models and business focuses, we're just going in different directions. She was very Manhattan centric, and I lived in Brooklyn, and, you know, I really started to make, you know, my presence known in Brooklyn and also in large scale and boutique new development. And, you know, we just didn't have the same business models. So for me, when, you know, the conversation came up that, you know, wishing you the best of luck, you know, it's time to part, it just felt right and natural for me. And it wasn't like, I can't believe you do this. And no, none of that. I don't need the drama. It's just, it's not worth it. And it just felt right, you know, like we had, you know, a nice partnership. But, you know, I think in the end of the partnership, the past few years, we were just operating as almost too many teams in the team umbrella, just because our business, you know, visions and models were just very different.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's also growth. That means that we were there for each other, we nurtured each other, and then we grew. And so it was a positive.
Do you find it hard, though, in a business where that can be a little lonely, to not have, because we both have teams, we know what it's like to have people, you know, who, I never want to say work for us, but like they're on our team, right?
Yes.
As opposed to having someone who is your equal in like level, like hierarchy,
Sure.
I guess.
No, definitely. I and you know, if any of you are watching this, I do have my my little black book of, you know, trusted people that I call when I need to question my sanity, or, you know, how do I repurpose this listing? What are your thoughts on? And I do the same for them. And, you know, it's really good to have that. And it's almost better to have that as not your direct partner, because they're not seeing you every single day. They're analyzing what you need help with when you approach them with a question. And they're looking at it in an outside way and not a way where they've been operating next to you. I could ask a team member and they're smart and get it and always have great advice and feedback for me. But, you know, to be able to speak to someone, you know, at my company or a different company and just bounce ideas off them, you know, I have those people that I, you know, do that for and do it for me. So I haven't
I love that
found
perspective.
Yeah, and
That's
I
really
haven't
nice.
found that pocket of loneliness where I can't call someone because I'm scared they're gonna call the seller and, you know, rip the deal away from me or whatever it is. And like, no, and it's just a mutual respect and mutual understanding that we all know we're independent contractors. We all have to play nice in the sandbox. And
Some people need to be told that.
some people don't quite understand. Their sandbox is very different than the sandbox I like to stay in, but that's cool. Everyone's on their own journey. But it's, I do have those people. And, you know, they have, you know, shaped me and helped me be, you know, where I am today, and also helped me be better when, you know, I ask questions and they have an answer. I'm like, I never thought about it like that.
I will say I love your little black book analogy. That's so great. I love that. I have a feeling one of our favorites is on that Jessica Peters, who I'm obsessed
Absolutely.
with. She's
Yeah,
amazing.
she's fantastic.
My person for that typically is I love Kirsten Jordan, and she's such a, I don't know, I love her, but she's also so honest and open about like the struggles and how it's not all pretty and glamorous. And I love that. We always talk about that reality that you were saying earlier about being a team lead and how it's not all it's cracked up to be, but it's, I think people in the industry think that when you have a team and you're not like some like rando that's having a team who like has no listings, like when you're like a real like successful, productive team, the lead is constantly busy and is constantly doing everything for the team, and also is actually like not really keeping a lot of the funds for themselves because we're making everyone really happy. It's a totally different.
100%. And that goes back to, you know, the comment about authenticity, where what I found running a team is you are going to get respect and, you know, admiration and willingness to have your team members work for you if you're right there on the front lines with them. The problem with a lot of team leads I see is they build their team is great, and then they go off on a trip or they do this or that, or they're, you know, not out there too. And, you know, my team in particular knows that if, you know, they're, doing something, they're not going to say, well, I can't do it, because they know I'll do it. I'll find a way to do it. I'll get a 26-hour built into the day, and I will do it. And they all know that. And it's very important to demonstrate that you are present, that you understand what they're doing, and that you're not just delegating the tasks out. And I think a lot of team leads, and when I've spoken to other team leads that call me in the cone of silence, how do you run a team with such good retention? How can I do that? And, I just ask the questions, are you present? Do you make yourself available? These are things a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
Your team is competent, they're smart, you saw their resume, you know that their street smarts are there, but you have to be present for them. If they're calling you with the question, you can't just say, go ask someone else on the team.
Agreed.
You have to answer the phone.
Agreed. It's the whole point that you're there.
Exactly.
You have to be a mentor to everyone.
100%.
Yeah. And you have a really special team. Like everyone on your team is so great. And that's such a representation of you. You're great. We don't have to fluff you up completely.
No.
but we're going to take another break. We'll come right back. Sorry.
No, it's so good.
I'm Brian Scott Cohen, one of the top loan originators in the country, and the #1 mortgage originator at Guaranteed Rate Infinity. Guaranteed Rate Infinity arguably has the most advanced tech in the industry. Our completely digital loan process makes it easy and efficient for homeowners, from a 15-minute pre-approval to the digital application and through closing. My team and I would love to help you get into the home of your dreams.
Welcome back. Sorry that we look so happy. We just are. We're like gabbing all the time. So first, I want to start with something that I really think is you inspire me in a lot of ways. And one of those ways was, I love what you did with your business a few years ago, where you kind of just said, hey, this is my target. This is my target neighborhood. This is my this is my specialty. And a lot of agents like myself, I take ownership. I do business everywhere, which is fine. But, I do so appreciate the fact that you were like, this is what I'm great at. This is what I'm great at. This is what people come to me for. Why not focus on it? Tell me, how did you, I just want to know, I want to know you're thinking about it. No, because it's so good. I think people should hear it.
No, it was an organic and also, not necessarily easy decision, because I am very much now a Brooklyn broker. That is what I am with Manhattan training. And I make that very clear because, in my experience of being in the field in Brooklyn, there's a very eclectic array of professionalism. And, I started, back at a very small company called Stribling, and I'd go all the way from...
I love how you think that's small.
At the time it was. It had its three offices.
I guess.
I'd go all the way up to 73rd and Madison, and Libba would not allow us to wear jeans. It was in the company handbook.
Yes.
And, I'd sit at my desk and I'd learn about inventory and, just applying that level of discipline and professionalism and then taking it to Brooklyn, I think has really helped me. It's helped me win listings. It's helped me win, development projects. And it's also helped me, what I think is the most important part of the business, my referrals. And working for people and then having their friends come to me and their friends of friends. That's really, what it's about.
Yeah. And you live there. It definitely
helps. And I live there. Look,
yeah.
and it's great. And on Saturdays, do I put the big hat on and the coat and no makeup and big sunglasses and hope no one says hi to me just for half an hour? Absolutely, just so I could have my few minutes. But
you're so right, because I relate what you're doing to all the older school brokers who only did their building. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I always used to say the first time I buy, I'm not going to sell in my building because I don't want to be known for that. But honestly, there's something to be said for it.
No, it's great because you become a neighborhood expert, you become a familiar face, and you become, someone that people trust. And it's actually a higher stake of pressure than diversifying your business because you want every transaction to go seamless and you want every buyer and seller experience to be positive because, like you said, you're going to see these people in the neighborhood. And you don't want to have, a turbulent deal on your track record, or this person, run after you a month later and say, my basement flooded or this or that. You have to, again, be direct, be authentic, and, carry that through, within the business and, within, who you are, your character. And that, has really, helped a lot of, the Park Slope and Carroll Gardens, Brooklyn Heights, Boerum Hill, everything, Prospect Heights, Fort Greene. I have a good foothold in all of those areas. And it's really helped me.
It's awesome.
It's been great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so on a personal side,
yes.
we'll end with a little bit of personal.
Okay.
So we mentioned before, you are the acronym of DINKs, right?
Yes.
For anyone who doesn't know what that is, dual income, no kids. Everyone should know by now. But I'm going to say I so admire you, because a lot of the brokers that you are around, Park Slope, Prospect Heights, a lot of them are parents, right? A lot of them, not only have one child, but multiple children.
Yes.
They're really like juggling a lot of things. And I think, this might sound pessimistic of me as a person, but I do think that a lot of marriages are being held up by just focusing on their children, and also just having such a crazy career like real estate. I can't even imagine. So you're one of the few people I know who you have such a healthy marriage. Like, obviously your husband is great, but it takes two.
Absolutely.
And how do you guys, because again, I relate real estate brokers who are successful like us to be crazy people. So
Which we are.
So
we're not normal.
So
Absolutely.
how do you and your husband do it? With just maintaining this business.
Oh man, it's a lot of years of practice. Look, I think, the bottom line for us is we've also known each other for more than half our lives. So we've seen the good, bad, the ugly, the very great. We've seen everything. But, on the daily, what is important for us in our crazy work weeks is that we set aside time to, do something together. That's usually for us, on Friday or Saturdays. And, sometimes, we do something in the middle of the week. And, when we come home from work, most important, we take 20 minutes, to just kind of sit there and check in with each other. And, again, it's like being in real estate. It's about communication.
Yeah.
And you have to communicate. It doesn't have to be hours and hours. I don't want to talk to my husband for hours and hours. No, thank you. I'll save that for vacations. But no, even if it's a text, even if you're not going to get those 20 minutes, at night, you just have to communicate on some level. And that keeps, both sides feeling, engaged and present. It's when you don't communicate that, things can get tricky. Yeah. And, real estate's tough. You are on the go, and it's easy to get wrapped up in it and not communicate. So you have to strike that balance.
Yeah, you're so right.
100%.
Preach. So good. Okay, lastly.
Yes.
Give us one restaurant that we should try in Brooklyn right now. I was going to say Park Slope, but I want to keep it more general.
One restaurant. Oh, man. One restaurant to try in Brooklyn. I would say that if I was going on a date night.
Oh, okay.
Or just spend with a friend.
Writing this down.
It's been around for about 2 years now, but I'm obsessed with it. It's right in Fort Greene. It's called Margot. It's kind of like French bistro inspired. Their organic wine list is amazing. Oh. And they couldn't be nicer. And whether you grab a seat at the bar or you tuck yourself into one of their booths, it's right on this very active corner, yet it's really cozy inside. And it just strikes this nice Brooklyn vibe balance. And especially if you're coming from Manhattan and you want to have your quintessential Brooklyn moment.
Love it.
That would be the first place that comes to mind.
Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you for having me.
We absolutely have to do this again.
Yes.
And for all of you, we're going to do it without you guys, too.
Yes, 100%.
But thank you. You're the best.
Of course.
And thank you all for out there for just supporting us and watching. And see you soon.
What do you really need to know about buying or selling a home? First, It's serious business. And it's complicated. There's a lot of money on the table, and emotion too. You need an agent who knows the ropes. So, whether you're buying or selling your home, work with professionals who have a mastery of the craft.